Well, so you have been conditioned to look at and listen to everything and taste everything and touch everything and think about everything in that kind of a way, where it has an effect on you. Okay, so you need to learn how to counteract that, so you can go through life and things don't affect you. Things don't grab your attention. You give your attention. See? Things that you used to want and lust after and need and hunger for. No. The glass of beer that you used to need. No thanks. See? So that way you become, where you will become disciplined and free from the effect of things on you. Okay? So that's where my meditation helps. See? That helps. There's a way of standing back. Okay? There's a way of standing back and defocusing. See? Defocusing. See, the first thing, anything that's had some kind of the effect on you, like I've been talking about, now it captures your attention. See? And then you look at it. It's like study. You study it. You see men studying women, looking women over. See? Or you see someone studying a catalog or studying, thinking of buying this and buying that. They're totally absorbed by it. See? So the capturing of attention then leads to the absorption process. See? And it interferes with your ability to concentrate. A lot of people, they say, well, I have a hard time concentrating. That's because everything has that effect on them. It captures their attention. So they're sitting there, and then somebody walks by, and then there's a text message, okay? And then they want to check their emails, and then they want to get something to drink. And see, everything captures their. And then they try to study a little bit, and then all of a sudden they want to check their text message. See, again. So you have if you're like the average person, you have very poor concentration. If you could learn to meditate with my meditation, then you would learn then things would have less effect on you, and your concentration would be much better. Much better. Okay? So, I'll just give you a simple example. For example, here's just a little mechanical thing. If you, as you're sitting there now, if you look up, okay, maybe after this video is over, when you're not watching me anymore, but if you look up at some object on the wall that's above your line of sight, in other words, it's not level with your eyes, but it's above your eyes, so you look up at that object, okay? But without straining, you don't want to strain, but just look up at it. And as you look at that object, you'll notice that your field of vision opens up. If you look at something right in front of you, okay, but then you look up at an object where you're turning your eyes up and looking at it, notice that you'll be able to see in your peripheral vision. You have more peripheral vision. See how that opens it up? Well, that's in a little mechanical kind of a way. You can see sort of what we're looking for. You need to be able to defocus, to deconcentrate, defixate. That's the effect that temptation can have on you. You see kids nowadays, they're so tempted. They come from homes where there's lots of bad things happening, and there's way too much activity, and everything is too artificially stimulating. And they start to look at everything with that kind of attention that I've been talking about here. The effect that temptation has on us. Okay? And so when they're trying to read, they read from word to word. Each word sort of captures their attention. And they have a hard time reading. A lot of people have a hard time reading. Whereas to look lightly, see, that's what they need to learn how to do. So you see how, my little example of how your peripheral vision opens up? Okay, here's another example. Let's say you're sitting on a bench and you're in the park, okay, and just relaxing. And you look off, and maybe there's a tree, okay? And then you can imagine how you could look at that tree intensely, okay? Well, there's a tree, and then a few feet away there's maybe a bush. I'm just making something up, a rose bush. So there's a tree and the rose bush, okay? So there's the tree, there's the rose bush, there's a tree, there's the bush. If you could practice just looking off into the distance, so there's the tree and there's the rose bush, and you're kind of looking at them both at the same time. Okay? You see that there's the tree and there's the rose bush, but you're not fixating on either one of them. You see how that kind of gives you a little bit of mental little ability to kind of stand back and get the big picture. Okay? Well, those are just a couple of little tiny mechanical examples, okay, of how you can, okay. One more little mechanical example. As you're sitting somewhere, I'll use the example of sitting on a nice park bench again and looking around. If you can become aware of your hands, or your hand, whichever is easiest. See, some people it's easier for them to be aware of both hands. For some people it's easier to be aware of one hand. Either way is fine. But I'll just say hands, okay? And just notice your hands as you're sitting there. Just lightly notice your hands and as you're sitting there. And sometimes it helps to close your eyes, okay? And then notice your hands and until your hands become a little tingly. Like you can notice one thing, you can notice your thumb, for example. Let's say you're noticing one hand. Let's say you're noticing your right hand. So there it is on your lap, and you're relaxing. And then you notice your thumb. In other words, you pay attention. You gently pay attention to your thumb. You notice that your thumb is there, that your thumb exists. And as you do so, it'll become a little bit tingly. Okay? Then you notice your first finger. You feel your first finger. You sense your first finger. You gently notice your first finger, and it becomes a little tingly. And then you notice your second finger. See, and then your third finger. You can notice one finger at a time. It helps you to notice them. And then your whole hand. You notice your hand is a little tingly. Well, you know what that does? It gives you a little bit of separation again. See, you're more self-composed. You're not lost out there in the world. See, you're more centered with a little bit of detachment. It's very good. Okay? In my meditation, I also talk about closing your eyes and looking at the inside of your eyelids, noticing the little glow of light on the inside of your eyelids, little pixels of light on the inside of your eyelids. Okay? And when you do that, it takes you out of the imagination. See, I'll just mention one more little thing. I think I did a fairly decent job of describing the effect that things have on us when we've been artificially stimulated to need them, want them, pay attention to them. They grab our attention, see? And people are good at doing that, aren't they? See? You need to learn to be able to stand back